Iuno with the new 3.0 update has become a very strong unit to be used as a main DPS, even though her main role is that of a sub DPS. She is one of the most versatile units in this game. This video will cover all the latest builds, teams, rotations and more infos for Iuno, so without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting with her kit. Iuno's kit revolves around the key mechanic called Lunar Cycle, which she can enter by casting her enhanced resonance skill or ultimate. The resonance skill is enhanced by casting her basic attack 3, resonance skill or intro skill. For most of the rotations, the intro skill method is usually used. The Lunar Cycle has two states, half moon and full moon. She enters half moon state by default. She can switch between the two states by pressing jump. The half moon state is never really used as most of her damage comes from the full moon state. The only use of the half moon state is for filling up her forte bar, but it is ignored because there are more efficient ways to fill it by using her intro skill, ultimate and enhanced resonance skill. The forte circuit points are consumed by the basic attacks and resonance skill in her full moon state to deal more damage. Her 3 basic attack combo in this state consumes 50 points in total and 25 points by each of her resonance skill, which has 2 charges. Her ultimate deals a huge nuke damage and puts her in Lunar Cycle state. Around 90% of Iuno's damage is considered as liberation damage. This is the basic kit of Iuno that you need to know. Now let's talk about her buffs. Iuno has 2 major buffs. One is from her outro, which gives 50% heavy attack damage amplification to the next resonator, which is huge. And the second buff is only limited to Augusta and Iuno herself as of now. When Iuno's concerto energy is full, she can cast a special heavy attack called Absolute Fullness. The damage is not big, but it creates a domain that provides healing, and when a resonator in that domain gains a shield, they get a special stack which increases the damage amplification of all types by 4% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. That is a total of 40% all damage amplification. Gaining a new stack resets the buff duration. Iuno immediately gains 5 of these stacks on casting her intro skill or resonance liberation. Additionally, her first inherent passive allows her to gain shield from most of her actions, which allows her to use a really strong echo set. For her talent priority, for a sub DPS playstyle, level her forte circuit followed by liberation, intro skill, resonance skill and lastly her basic attacks, as it is never really used. But for DPS, the basic attacks gain a bit higher priority as you will be using them to extend the rotation slightly. Moving on to her echo sets. Iuno has 2 viable echo sets. The first one is Crown of Valor echo set with Lady of the Sea echo skill, which is the best for a DPS playstyle and also for the sub DPS playstyle. It is a 3-piece set that gives a 30% attack and 20% crit damage. And for the other 2 pieces, you can pair it with any arrow sets like Sierra Gale, Gusts of Felkin or Windward Pilgrimage, which are the best ones. 2-piece Lingering Tunes also works and Moonlit Clouds if you need the energy. There's one more set that you can use on Iuno, and that is a Moonlit Cloud sets with Impermanence Heron Echo skill, which works for sub DPS Iuno and delivers a similar performance to Crown of Valor, or slightly better if the main DPS she is buffing has better investments than her. For echo stats, crit rate or damage on the 4 cost, double arrow damage or a combination of 1 attack and 1 arrow damage bonus on the 3 cost, and attack percent on the 1 cost echoes. From substats, try to get around 120% plus energy regen for sub DPS playstyle. For main DPS, she can get away with no energy regen rolls. Then prioritize crit stats, resonance liberation damage, attack percent and flat attack. Moving on to her weapons. Her best in slot is obviously a signature weapon, Moongazer Sigil, by a big margin over her other options. It gives a liberation damage bonus and her attacks the ability to ignore defense of enemies up to 36%. The next best options for her in order are the Verity's Handle, Blazing Justice, Tragic Comedy and the new standard banner weapon Pulsation Brazier have same performance, followed by the old standard banner weapon Abyss Surges. For 4 stars, you can use the Aether Strike, Stonard, Celestial Spiral, Hollow Mirage, etc. Moving on to her team comps. 2 main ways to use Iuno are as a main DPS and as a sub DPS. Let's first start with a sub DPS playstyle. The best DPS that can make full use of Iuno's buffs is Augusta, as she can stack her forte buff and benefit from the outro buff. For the last slot, you can use a sustain support like Shorekeeper or Varina, or even Lynae works if your Iuno is well invested, as Lynae can buff Iuno and also give damage bonus to the entire team. She can perform close to Shorekeeper, but Shorekeeper can be better if you have bad crit ratios or if Iuno is not well invested. The only problem is that Lynae won't have an intro for the first rotation, so you will have to fill her forte with her basic attacks. Mornye is also an option, but Shorekeeper is better as she has crit buffs, and Mornye needs Lynae in the team to give the 40% damage bonus buff, and her faster off-tune build-up rate synergizes with Lynae, who gives tune break damage boost. She is the best buffer for Jiyan as well, as it deals mostly heavy attack damage. Jiyan, Iuno, Chakona is the strongest team for Jiyan. If you don't have Chakona, you can use a sustain support like Shorekeeper, Warina or even Lynae works. Other DPS like Phoebe, Zani and Galbrena can also use Iuno's outro buff, but they have better options like Zani and Phoebe are best together, with Spectre Rover being the best for the third slot. Galbrena is better with Jiyan as her damage consists a higher portion of echo skill damage. For DPS playstyle, the best buffer for Iuno is Lynae. She provides a tons of buffs and good damage from Tune Break. If you have Iuno signature, then Iuno with Lynae's support comes very close to the top teams like Karthikeya. For the third slot, Mornye is the best option. You can also use Shorekeeper who can be better to fix crit ratios, or even Arrow Rover or Chakona. Chakona is better than Shorekeeper if you have a signature. Chakona is one of the best characters to use in any Arrow teams, which also includes Iuno teams. You can use her in the third slot or even as a second slot character. She has good damage and also gives a team-wide 24% arrow damage bonus and more buff with Gusts of Welkin Echo set. If you are using Chakona as a second slot character, then Arrow Rover is the best option for third slot, as the rover gives arrow damage amplification and increases arrow erosion stacks limit, which ultimately increases the arrow erosion damage. Yinlin and Jiyan are other sub DPS that you can use with Iuno, with Yinlin being a better option even if she provides less buffs. Now let's move on to our rotations. For the standard sub DPS rotation, start with an intro, then ultimate, do a jump to enter full moon state, 3 basic attacks, 2 resonance skills which will fill your concerto, allowing you to cast the special heavy attack which you can swap cancel. In Augusta less teams, you can skip the heavy attack as it is not needed. You can extend the sub DPS rotation slightly for more damage, especially if Iuno is well invested, by using the enhanced resonance skill after an intro, then jump, use a resonance skill, and as soon as the projectiles come out, use the liberation to animation cancel. Then 3 basic attacks, another enhanced skill which you can swap cancel if you are not using the special heavy attack. For main DPS, her rotations becomes longer. We start with her intro into her skill, followed by a jump, 3 enhanced basic attacks, use the resonance skill which you can animation cancel with her ultimate, 3 enhanced basic attacks, resonance skill again, then do 3 basic attacks and outro. For S6 Iuno, her rotation changes a bit. I don't have S6 Iuno to showcase it, so I will put the rotation on the screen. Moving on to her sequences. Iuno has some really nice sequences, with the best ones being her S2, S3 and S6. The first sequence gives her 40% attack and resonance energy, alongside interrupt resistance to her resonance skills and special heavy attack. It is overall a decent sequence. The S2 gives an additional 40% damage amplification to the characters that have maxed out her forte buff, which means more buffs for Iuno and Augusta. The S3 gives 65% multiplier increase to her major attacks. The S4 gives shield, S5 gives a slight damage boost to Iuno, and S6 allows Iuno to execute 2 main DPS rotation in one, as a special heavy attack fills up her forte and reset the skill's cooldown. So overall, Iuno is one of the best characters in the game due to her flexibility as a sub DPS, being able to fit with so many characters, and also she can be used as a main DPS which can potentially compete with top teams like Karthikeya teams if you invest in her build and teams. And that was all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. Join my Discord server to hang out with other WoW players. Thanks for watching.